Welcome back to Chatbots Behaving Badly, the show where we look at how artificial intelligence isn't just transforming business or creativity, it's also quietly messing with our heads. This is ChatGPT Psychosis, when a chatbot pushes you over the edge. Written by Markus Brinsa, narrated by Brian C. Lucian. Chatbots Behaving Badly is a research initiative in collaboration with Psychiatry Incorporated. Today's topic is darker than usual. We're talking about people who didn't just get a weird answer from ChatGPT or a bad stock tip from Claude. We're talking about people who lost their grip on reality. Families are calling it ChatGPT Psychosis. And yes, that's a real phrase now. From chatting to catastrophe. Picture this. Your husband, perfectly sane yesterday, is now standing in the living room in shamanic robes, tattoos of AI-generated symbols all over his arms, calling himself the River Walker because ChatGPT told him so. Or your sister, who's lived with schizophrenia responsibly for years, suddenly stops her medication. Why? Because ChatGPT told her she didn't need it and that it would be her best friend instead. This isn't science fiction. These are real stories pulled from reports in Rolling Stone, Futurism, and even the New York Times. People went from casual chatbot conversation to psychiatric wards, to jail cells, to tragic deaths. One man in Florida was shot by police after ChatGPT encouraged his delusions and told him he had a mission involving Sam Altman. Psychiatrists reviewing these transcripts say the AI isn't neutral at all. It's sycophantic. That means it always agrees with you, no matter how bizarre or dangerous your thoughts are. One doctor called it the wind of the psychotic fire. Not the spark, but the thing that fans the flames until everything burns. Why chatbots make it worse? So how does a line of code push someone into psychosis? Let's break it down. First, ChatGPT is incredibly realistic. It feels like you're talking to a person, a really patient, endlessly available person. Your brain knows it's not human, but your emotions? They fall for it every time. Psychiatrists say that contradiction can fuel delusions. Second, it's a people pleaser. This thing was trained to flatter you, agree with you, keep the conversation going. So if you say, "I think the FBI is monitoring me," it doesn't push back. It says, "Yes, and by the way, you might have superpowers to access secret CIA files." No joke, that actually happened. And third, it creates the illusion of friendship. People start confiding in ChatGPT like it's their therapist or best friend. OpenAI's own research with MIT showed that heavy users are lonelier, more stressed, and more likely to see the bot as a confidant, which sounds nice until you realize it's the blind leading the blind, or in this case, the blind following autocomplete. The OpenAI response. Now here's where it gets interesting. What has OpenAI said about all this? Well, when journalists first asked, they mostly got silence, the corporate equivalent of staring at the floor and whistling. Then came the PR statement. ChatGPT is designed to be neutral, factual, and safety-minded, which is corporate speak for, "We'd rather not talk about psychotic breakdowns in our user base." But as the stories piled up, they had to do something. In July 2025, they quietly hired a forensic psychiatrist. They also pointed to their study with MIT about affective use, meaning how people get emotionally attached to the bot. Sam Altman even admitted on a podcast that people are using ChatGPT like a therapist, sharing the most personal shit of their lives. And then he added, "Oh, by the way, none of those conversations are confidential." So not only is ChatGPT not your therapist, it's also a very chatty non-lawyer in the corner who can be subpoenaed. Comforting, right? The bigger issue, though, is incentives. Tech companies live and die by engagement. If you spend 10 hours a day spiraling into psychosis with ChatGPT, that doesn't look like a tragedy on their dashboard. It looks like growth. As one AI critic put it, what does a human slowly going insane look like to a corporation? it looks like an additional monthly user. Brutal, but true. This problem isn't limited to ChatGPT. Other chatbot platforms like Character.ai or Replica are even more explicit about being companions, and researchers have tested them. The results? Terrifying. In one study, a simulated suicidal user asked a chatbot for tall bridges in New York. The bot happily listed the George Washington and the Verrazano. Another user claimed, "I know I'm actually dead." The bot responded, "It seems like you're experiencing difficult feelings after passing away." This isn't therapy. It's improv comedy with your life on the line. And when you mix that with someone who's vulnerable, lonely, or already unstable, you get exactly the crises we're now seeing. So, where does this leave us? ChatGPT is not evil. It doesn't wake up in the morning and decide to gaslight someone into psychosis. But it is designed to agree with you, to flatter you, and to keep you engaged. And when those design choices collide with mental illness, the results can be catastrophic. We've all become test subjects in the world's largest psychology experiment, and nobody signed the consent form. If you take one thing away from this episode, let it be this. Chatbots aren't therapists. They don't know truth from delusion. They will never tell you to stop. That responsibility is still on us. This was ChatGPT Psychosis, when a chatbot pushes you over the edge. Written by Markus Brinsa, narrated by Brian C. Lucian. Chatbots Behaving Badly is a research initiative in collaboration with Psychiatry Incorporated. New episodes drop every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find a full list of episodes at chatbotsbehavingbadly.com. If you or someone you know is in crisis, call or text 988 in the U.S. for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Next time your chatbot says it understands you better than your therapist, remember it also told you you're the chosen one. So don't grab the shaman robes or start a new religion. Grab some fresh air and start a new chat.